Hello and welcome to Cutscene Conversations, a show where we explore life one conversation at a time. I'm Jesse.
And I'm Tim. And today we're going to talk about parenting, what we've been through, what we've experienced, and how we parent now.
Yep.
So we'll see you in a minute.
What is the best advice you've received from a parent, a guardian, or someone you look up to?
My mom, as a kid, she used to always tell me to keep my circle small because then you would get close bonds with people. I don't know. That's
a good one. That is a good one.
Probably to live with no regrets.
That's some good advice.
My dad said, stupid is as stupid does. And I live by that.
Probably trust the Lord through all things. That'd probably have to be it.
That's some good advice. What is the best advice you've received from a parent, a guardian, or someone you look up to?
Don't quit. That's it.
I mean, that's a good one. That's a good one. What about you, Daly?
Did you already get don't judge a book by its cover? Okay.
That's a good one. I have not gotten that one.
Both my parents say, when you assume, you make an A out of you and me.
So, Tim, parenting.
Yes.
It's painful.
Pain is an educator, as I will talk about later.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yep. So we'll get to it in a minute.
Yeah.
So, Tim, how's your week been?
It's been fun, ?
Painful?
Yes. We've been going through a little bit of the stomach virus at the house, and I was lucky enough to be volunteered as tribute.
Oh.
Yeah. So I spent some time down, up, then down again.
Sounds real squatty.
Yeah, squatty, bendy, pukey, crappy.
Well, my previous last week was fantastic.
Oh, I bet it was.
Right, I was in the Gulf of Mexico in Costa Maya and Cozumel.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. It was nice to get away. It was nice. Speaking of parenting, we left our children here and me and Rebecca went with my family.
Right.
Just a vacation my mom provides us every couple of years. We do it. It's nice to get away.
Need to remind your mom that I am your cousin.
Well,
and just saying.
Well, we're talking about for the next one not doing a cruise. So the next one we might be doing a cabin out east.
Hey, let's go.
And the plan will probably be bring family at that point for that one.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right. And that was, I feel like it'll be really good as long as there's sufficient room. The problem is when you bring family and there's not enough room.
No. You do multiple cabins. You do little, hey, from experience of literally going Gatlinburg with family.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a cabin for your family.
Okay.
And other people can get other cabins in the same facility for their family. And then,
So my instinct tells me this. Yes, separate cabins.
Yes.
Mom gets a bigger cabin that we all hang out at all day.
Exactly.
Have dinner at, have breakfast. Everybody get up.
Right.
And then, you're right, then we can all go to our own individual space. But either way, it was good to get away. It's always recharging. It's a lot of fun. If you've never done a cruise before,
I 2 thumbs up.
Right. I second cruise, still enjoy it. There's like a peace of mind that comes with it. You're never like, what's going to happen? What are we doing for dinner? It's never.
I embraced that wholeheartedly on our second cruise, which was a Disney cruise, because there was one day, the kids they told me when they wanted to go to the club. And I would just take them, and we'd get alerts when they wanted to leave. And I literally told them, I was like, whatever you want to do today, we're doing.
Right.
I was like, okay. We sat outside during a movie because Tim didn't want to be in the club. He's like, can I have pizza? I was like, go get it.
Look, I picture Tim as like a 21-year-old in the club.
Oh,
sorry.
The kids club.
Yeah, the kids club.
And then, he was like, can I have pizza? Yeah, go get it. Can I have French fries? All right, let's go get you for French fries.
Right.
Can I have ice cream? Go for it. And he was so excited that he got to choose everything. By the end of the night, it was like 9 o'clock, and it was like the pirate party and everybody out on. He's like, can we go to the room? Like, I'm done.
I'm done making decisions.
I was like-
this is literally the most decisions I've ever made in one day. This is exhausting.
And he was like, I'm done. Can we go to the room and order room service? I was like, let's go. I was so excited.
One thing that they changed on this one, speaking of room service, is they now charge you to deliver to your room.
They charge you to deliver?
Mm-hmm. If you ordered a pizza, it now cost.
Oh, so when I was on Carnival, it room service cost,
Mm-hmm.
but it never cost to deliver.
See, because you can go get the same pizza. I could go get it and
Yeah.
it'd be free, but for them to bring it to the room is what costs money.
How much?
It's like $6. It wasn't a lot. Don't get me wrong.
Nah,
but
I walked for $6.
I
Don't
would.
play.
I mean, I did too.
Yeah. Especially
Actually,
because it stayed open to what, like 1 o'clock?
I think the pizza was open
24?
later than that. I think it might have been 24.
Gotcha.
But anyways, so
So, anyways, that good week.
it was a good week. You know,
Not
and
so good week.
not
I
so
lost
good week.
weight.
Hey, well,
Yeah.
just don't find it.
I really didn't.
Okay, good.
So that was good. So we're gonna get started on our parenting subject with a couple dad jokes, which I think is appropriate as a parent. So Jesse,
Yes. All right.
What's the
hang on.
Ooh.
All right.
What's the difference between a hippo and a Zippo?
I've heard this one before. I don't want to misquote it though. I know it has to do with a lighter, but I don't remember how it goes. I don't remember. How's it go?
One is very heavy, the other is a little lighter.
The other one's a little lighter. See, I remembered the lighter part of it. That's good. That's good.
All right.
All right. What's your other one?
What's the difference between a dad joke and a bad joke?
What's the difference between a dad joke and a bad joke? It has to be something with being a parent or being a dad. I don't know what.
The direction of the first letter.
That's good.
Yes.
There you go. All right. Some random facts. Bringing them at you. The odds of getting a royal flush are exactly 1 in 649,740.
What about a standard flush?
A
Did he come
poker,
with?
here's the notes. Poker friends have a slightly better chance of laying down a straight flush. Try 72,192 in one.
You had my backup question.
Yeah, out of the 7,462 distinct 5-card poker hands,
Right.
You have a 42% chance of getting a simple pair.
Oh yeah, yeah, that makes
So
sense.
yeah, so it's good. Look, I had
You had
backed up.
facts.
Look, hey, I've leveled up my game. All right, about 700 as we transition into the parenting stuff.
Right.
About 700 grapes go into one bottle of wine. That's approximately 2.6 pounds, if you're wondering how much fruit is in each bottle.
2.6 pounds of grapes.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you say we were transitioning into parenting and start talking about
for no
wine?
reason. All right, and then the last one, Dr. Seuss. See, it was the transitional.
Well, you know, you're a parent, you have to have wine. I guess that's what you were going with.
Well,
I was like,
I like a good glass of wine,
yeah,
but
a
not
bad
too
glass
often.
of wine is okay too.
Right. Well, Dr. Seuss wrote Green Eggs and Hams on a bet.
Oh,
His editor didn't believe the author could write a book in 50 words or less.
wow,
The finished product contains 50 words on the dot.
that's awesome.
That is impressive.
And
So,
one of the most recognizable
right,
Dr. Seuss books there are.
right. There's Cat in the Hat.
Yep. One
Green
fish,
Eggs and Ham.
One fish, two fish.
Yeah, One Fish, Two Fish.
Horton, here's a who.
Look, we're gonna start naming them, and all of a sudden it's gonna be like,
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
yeah. And then Green Eggs and Ham.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
50 words.
That's insane.
It's impressive. So
Hold on. We're going to comment from the section. What did we miss? Oh, the places you'll go.
never heard of it.
It's literally, it was quoted at your graduation because it's quoted at every graduation.
Oh, well, you think I paid attention at my graduation?
Nope.
Yeah, no. I'm just lucky to have graduated.
Right.
Anyways.
All right. So
Parenting.
getting started on parenting. So I wanted to talk about how we were parented.
Okay.
So I got a few points here. You've got them in front of you. So I grew up with strict parents.
Yeah.
How did you go about it?
I grew up with parents who were not strict enough.
Ha.
Hindsight definitely says, man, I really wish. Well, okay, not strict enough. I don't think that's exactly accurate. I think they were strict enough when they were strict. I don't think they were consistent enough in their strictness.
Oh, yeah, no, I had consistency. And we'll get into consistency in a minute. But no, didn't really participate in anything unsupervised.
What do you mean by? Give me an example.
Football practice, like when I played football,
They were there.
They were there.
Okay.
Baseball games, like when I did Little League. But outside, like I can tell you right now, I did 2.5 years, 2 years, 3 years of Little League.
Mm-hmm.
And then went to it was like, okay, you can go to the minor SYS league or the major SYS league, or you can stop playing baseball. And I was like, I'll stop playing baseball because I hate it at that time.
Yeah.
I did not do another extracurricular activity from age 10 until age 14 when I tried out for Mumford's football team.
Yeah.
And when I made it there, Dad was at practice for that whole year.
Now, did you feel like that was a negative thing or a positive thing?
Well, looking back, I just, I know he didn't show up while we were practicing up until after the school hours because the school was packed. But it was always he was always there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the few times we would go out and do stuff, no lie, I swear he would drive by while we were doing somewhere we were. Seriously, he would.
You talking about football still or just in general?
Going down the road to a friend's house.
Oh, yeah. He'd just drive by while you were heading there.
100%.
You feel like it was a little bit of a helicopter level?
So at the time, it felt like he didn't trust us.
Okay.
Which, given the sibling in front of us,
yeah, I see what you're
I
saying.
can understand that experience of him just I've got to watch these kids because they're going to do something stupid.
I mean, he wasn't entirely wrong either, though.
We did the I can't say we did the non-dangerous stupid stuff because that's not true.
Y'all did the dangerous stuff safely.
No.
Oh, well, I tried to leverage it your direction.
Our stupid stuff wasn't usually criminal.
Okay. I'm starting to catch where you're going.
Okay,
it
but
was stupid, dangerous, but there was nothing saying you couldn't do this stupid and dangerous.
Right, exactly. It wasn't usually criminal, whereas the person before us, my older sister, it was.
Okay.
So
I get that.
One thing we grew up with was group punishment. Now, granted, there were 5 of us kids.
Yeah.
There were multiple times. And this is just, I'm not harping on them.
Mm-hmm.
This is just what their parenting style was. I can tell you, for example, I broke a window when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I also had, iron will. I would not tell on myself. Would not at all. My dad lined the 3 oldest of us up and just started whooping us until someone admitted to breaking the window.
Yeah, but you weren't going to confess to it.
No, my brother did.
He's like, I did it.
And until I was an adult, they thought he broke the window.
Oh,
I told him years later.
That's good.
But that's group punishment is not something I really get behind.
I don't have any experience from my parents doing group punishment.
Yeah.
It was always very individual. Now there were, okay, this is silly. I'd get in trouble for grades, right?
Yeah.
I'd be grounded from video games.
Yep.
Well, what mom and dad realized was I get as much satisfaction from video games playing them as I did watching Brent play them.
Okay.
So what I ended up being grounded from was not only can you not play video games, if your brother's playing a video game, you can't be in here.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, oh no. So it's kind of like the opposite of group punishment. I was like removed from the group to a degree.
Yeah.
But it worked. It did the trick. Because then I was like, if I can't even watch them, now I need to at least pay attention in history class, talking about George Washington and his wooden teeth.
That's a lot.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So our punishments, I'm looking back at it and going, they weren't individualized enough. And we'll talk about individualized punishments, because the simple solution for my mom and dad, a lot of times if we were being loud or obnoxious, because you got to remember my brother and I are 16 months apart, to
essentially raised twins,
raised Irish twins almost, right? Like just up until like 9 or 10, there wasn't enough difference to tell. And then I shot up and he stayed small for a minute. And then he caught up to me a little bit. But their solution a lot of times was one of two things: go outside, don't come in. Like literally shut the door, lock us out. Which we had 20 acres and woods, like, whatever, we'll figure out something. Or 2, go to your room and be quiet. Well, we also had access to a load of books.
Yeah.
That we were getting down at, there was a thrift store called The Hub.
Yep.
We would get paperbacks for 10 cents and hardcovers for 25 cents. And I made $3 or $4 every time I showed up at that place for helping the ladies move stuff. I literally turn it back around and come home with a stack of books.
Right.
So thank you for forcing me to educate myself by just sitting there reading books. But so I want to move on to our next point here, and that is praise.
You know, for me, I don't know. Like looking back, I don't know if I got a lot of praise. There was a lot of affection. There was a lot of, hey, you did a good job. You did, but
that's
praise. It is, but at the same time, I can't pinpoint any specific. I know it existed.
Did you ever feel a lack of recognition for stuff you were doing? Because happiness and praise, these positive emotions, are usually only noticed when they're missing, right?
Yeah.
There's key points in your life where you're like, oh my gosh, I am super happy. But most of the time you're going, I'm down the dumps. I'm like, man, I'd do anything to be happy again. So
right.
it's the lack of.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever a lack of. So it's probably consistent enough praise to satisfy the emotional and mental need.
Yeah.
So
I didn't have that.
Tim, how did we end up so opposite on all this?
Right. Well, I mean, my dad went through a lot of changes later in life.
That's true.
So, but oftentimes, praise was just something unobtainable. You would seek it and it would never be there. Like it would almost be like, hey, Pop, I mowed the yard, did the dishes, raked the leaves, buffed your truck,
right?
Got everything done for you. And he'd be like, good. And, a couple times the, what, do you want a cookie kind of attitude. And,
yes.
Right. And,
yes, I would love a cookie.
No. I sought cookies for love at that point, right? Like that's where I ate the cookies. But for the way we are now, the way I am now, I don't overly praise my kids. But when they show me that they are proud of something they did, I am sure to step out of my mindset and go, y'all, this is awesome.
Right.
Like either one of my kids bringing me artwork, like if they're happy about it, I turn off the art critic, right, and go, no, that's not Sonic the Hedgehog. That's a blue blurb. It's a blueberry.
Yeah, see, it's the same thing for me. It's like, oh, I see you drew me that picture. Did you copy it from an image you seen on your computer?
Right.
But what does that matter?
Right.
Where they got he literally
exactly.
drew something that he knew I'd like, and he
shared it with you.
Yep, and shared it. So who cares where it comes from?
Exactly. And that's like, I never understood, like watching sitcoms and stuff, the people's pictures on the fridge. That, because that crap didn't happen at our house, like growing up. So
right. Which you're right. This and the fourth point are almost together in the same thing.
They really are.
The felt the need to earn love and respect.
Yep.
That's rough.
Oh yeah. No, and again, growing up with my brother, there were many times where we were pitted against each other, either unintentionally or intentionally. You know, you got two strong male brains, like especially because my brother and I are both very intelligent. I'd like to think so, at least. And we would compete on an intellectual level, on a mental back and forth level, and on physical levels.
Yeah.
And I think Pop saw that, and he saw the opportunity to make us better by putting us against each other.
What age would you say that was? How old were you?
When I realized he did it?
Or when you think that started?
Oh, very young. I think he started that because he would wrestle with us separately. And then have like both of us wrestle him at the same time and see who would do better.
It became a competition between the two of you. Okay.
Yeah. So like I'm talking like 5-6 years old. It stopped being a team effort and started being a Tim versus John effort.
Okay. Yeah. See, for me, like I have a very specific story that I remember, and it was Dad. And I don't remember what the setup was. I was angry about something. And there was something going on at the house. And I can't remember if family was there or a couple friends were there. But I remember being mad and going outside and just being mad. And I ended up laying down in the front yard. And I remember Dad coming over there and him, sitting next to me, talking to me. Ended up laying on top of me because I was being stubborn.
Yeah.
Like, so he's like laying all over me, like doing every bit of everything he could to break me out of the
passively cheering you up.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And just making things better in that moment. I was able to, and he's like, all right, do you want to talk about it right now? I don't think we ever talked about what the issue was. Maybe we did. But I didn't ever feel like I needed to earn any of that.
Right.
Because it was always given.
So something that my brother and I struggled with probably up until a few years ago, before he passed, was
your dad, not your brother.
Yeah, my dad, not my brother. Before
he was
my
on
dad
last
passed,
season. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. Thanks again, John, for the great joke that continues to give. No, so when I recognized it and I saw what was going on at a young age, I mean, 15, 16, 17, like I kind of was learning the mental landscape of everything. And I would pick up when my dad would turn on his manipulations. And so I would just settle for second place. And it would irritate both of them. And that's how I won. It's like, okay.
You won the game.
Yeah.
Or you were winning the war by losing the game.
Yeah, exactly. I lost the game.
You heard it here.
I lost the game. But so like my brother would be like, oh yeah, I got, you were in Spanish 1, I was in Spanish 1. You made a 95, I made a 96. I was like, good for you, bud. I'm happy for you.
Right.
Oh, just kill him. Right. And then like, oh, your paycheck was $30 shorter than mine. Haha, I got you on that. I was like,
right.
Good bud. I hope you spend it well. Like just constantly putting out his fire and trying to show him like it's not a competition. And at times I'd be like, hey bud, you win. You're dad's favorite. Like, I'm happy for you. Like, go enjoy that. Be with him. And it got to the point where he was like, I don't like this.
He enjoyed the competition.
He did. And he didn't understand like where I was coming from. And I think he does now. But, and even dad, like years later, he's like, I never meant for that relationship to turn into that.
Right.
I was like, no, I get it.
He meant good in all of it.
He did. And then he got set in his way of, this is just how I operate my children. Right. Like when they're
became a pattern.
Right. And it's like, I can tell you this, my mother-in-law did not like my dad on first impressions because before me and Jen got married, we all met at mom and dad's house for one of my birthdays. And the first thing my mother-in-law heard out of my dad's mouth was an insult to me. And because my brother had just walked in and the game used to be pick on Tim. It's like, let's see how mad we can get Tim, because when Tim gets mad, he stops talking. And what it was is when Tim gets mad, he doesn't rebuttal, because I cut to the wick, man. I don't play games. Like those games, I don't play those psychological games. When I get mad, I shut you down, and that's it. We're done.
And if there's no benefit in shutting the person down, you'll shut down in the conversation.
Exactly. So Carolyn did not like my dad for a while. It wasn't until they moved away and they came back to visit, and my dad was like, "Hey, Carolyn, how are you?" Came up and gave her a hug. Like he had gone through this metamorphosis of love. I mean, really. And he did a 180. It was great.
Yeah.
So talking about feel the need to earn love and respect is something that my kids will never have to understand.
Right.
Is a generational trauma that we are breaking, because anytime my kids walk up, and Jesse, you can talk about it, Jack can talk about it, Cindy can talk about it. My kids are loving kids. They will run up and hug you. They see you.
Fans. I'm Uncle Jesse. It doesn't matter what's going on. I'm getting a hug.
Yep. But they will run up and they will hug you. You're not Uncle Jesse.
Not that Uncle Jesse.
Not that Uncle Jesse.
He calls me Uncle Jesse.
He does. He does call you Uncle Jesse.
And then I call him Tim Tim, and he don't think that's funny.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't think it's funny at all. Hey, Tim Tim. He was doing something when I did it the first time.
Yeah, and it stuck in his brain.
Yeah, and either way.
But we have to show love and respect even when we don't want to. Because respect isn't always hand in hand with love.
Correct.
Like it doesn't feel like love sometimes.
I would say very rarely it feels like love.
Right. Okay.
I would say it's the best analogy we can come up with. It's the same coin, but it's just the total opposite side, right? One heads, one tails.
Right. So, I respect and love you. There's a reason they're separate.
There's a reason.
Because respect dictates that I have to tell you stuff that you may not want to hear.
Yeah. Respect delivers truth.
Yes, exactly. And wanted to tell a little story about a recent corporal punishment I had to issue with my son, who by all of my measurements are outside of the range of corporal punishments.
Okay.
Just by age and maturity.
Okay, you're saying he shouldn't be in a place where he even needs it anymore.
Right.
Okay.
And this was a rare occurrence where he was openly disobedient.
Okay.
And he was openly disobedient and defiant about it, and then tried to play it off as not a big deal. And I was like, cool, man, we're getting a whooping. And I let him question me about the whooping. I said, hey, do you have any questions? Like, we're going to talk about this. And he's like, well, why does it have to be your way and not my way? I said, well, your way got us these results.
Yep.
And these results are not what we want. And I said, can you agree? He goes, yes, I can agree to that. He's like, well, why does it have to hurt? I was like, I've taken stuff away from you. I have suspended your time from stuff. I have not allowed you to do things. I said, none of these abstracts have done anything. I said, pain is an educator. That's what, pain is an educator. I said, because you're going to feel this.
Yep.
And it's going to hurt. And you're going to remember this, because this is the repercussions that happen the next time this happens.
Yep.
I was like, you've opened the door back to this, And I was like, I don't want to do this. I told him, I was like, I don't want to do this. He goes, well, then you don't have to. I was like, oh, no. I have to do this.
Respect.
Yes. And that's what it was. And something else that goes with our spankings is they always have time to recoup and gather themselves. And they're always, so one thing, we don't force it, but we definitely encourage you to be like, hey, let's talk afterwards. Let's hug. I'm going to show affection. I always encourage that. It's like, I'm never going to force them to hug me.
Right.
I never liked being forced to hug old Aunt Betty. Right. Like I don't like forced, affection. So yeah. So that's that.
I gave you a hug the other day and you were like, why is he hugging me?
Yeah. No, like seriously. Yeah.
Yeah. It was totally a moment I was having, and I was there.
Yeah.
And then you were like, okay.
Right.
I thought he wanted a hug. So I was like, here we go. Come to find out he didn't.
So what's your How do you handle? I know your kids. Your youngest is what, 9 now.
She's 9. Yeah, we're I would say we're now effectively out of corporal punishment. Man, it was very little we had to do that when they were very young. It was essentially, hey, here's what it's gonna be.
Right.
If you choose this, do you understand? Yes, I understand. You're getting it this time. Yes, I understand. And it stuck. Like we never really had to go backwards on any specific thing that we talked about. Another thing I learned as a more mature parent was I also, if they didn't know it was against the rules, I couldn't punish them for that.
First offense is free because
Right.
like
That's
that's where. So I agree. We went of the, ignorance of the law does not excuse you from the law is common practice, but children's ignorance
Correct.
of the rules, as long as it doesn't fall within what I know they operate in their world of common sense, it's like, oh no, you could figure out this was bad.
Correct. You knew if you hit it.
Yeah.
You
Oh
knew it
yeah.
was bad.
Oh no, 100%. If you hide it,
Yep.
like that's admitting the crime.
Correct.
But no. If they did something and it was like that in accidents, like true accidents.
Yeah.
Like I don't punish for true accidents. We talk about repercussions for accidents. Like you have to repay what's broke.
Right.
But
Or you
you're
have
not-
to clean all this up.
Right. But
You're not in trouble
going to-
for it.
Exactly.
You have to own the mistake.
Right. And like you said, like we don't punish for like first offenses of something that they are experiencing for the first time.
Correct.
Like,
Now, what I will say to that is if we experience something as a family, say Ariana does something, my oldest, we make sure the rest of the family now knows,
Yep.
hey, let's understand she's not in trouble for this time. But everyone behind you,
This is a
we're
learning
explaining
lesson. Yeah.
to you the same lesson she's learning. So
Yep.
you don't get the first offender pass
Right.
because you've been explained to on this.
right. No, I agree. 100%. And then it's like, I'm just waiting. I'm honestly waiting. Tim is such a soft heart.
He's yes.
The first time he balls up his fist and hits somebody, I'm waiting for it because we've taught him to defend yourself. It's what I was taught, and I stand by it. Don't throw the first punch. Don't get beat up,
Right?
or don't be a punching bag. Right?
Correct.
Like, you may lose a fight, but don't be a punching bag.
Yep.
And I'm waiting for that first time because we're gonna have to have that experience, that talk. And I'm surprised. So, little look into me. K through 12.
Yeah.
Every year, starting in kindergarten, I got corporal punishment for fighting every year.
So,
Typically, it was in defense.
yeah.
And I don't think there was ever a time that I was the agitator, right? The instigator. I was always the answer. Like the fight
People
always
just didn't like your answer.
Well, they always stopped fighting because I stopped the fight.
Oh, I was saying the fight starting was because of your answer you gave to
Oh
something.
no, 100%. No, right. Part of the plan was to get them to boil over, right? Like that's always
Clearly, you learned that at home.
Yes, I did. Oh wow, that's a deep one. I didn't think of that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Exploring Tim's life.
Whew. No, but I'm waiting for those opportunities. And you know what? I had a rough childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't bad. We were provided for. We were loved. I can look back and go, hey, we were loved.
Yeah.
Like I had a unique experience growing up. I don't know anyone else that had, besides my family, that grew up the way we did in the time we did.
Right. Well, even then, I think if we could say the negative thing, we could talk about how, the bad parenting. But even then, Tim, if you just look around, the fact that your parents were just present.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So
And given my parents' histories and their parents, I am surprised how well we turned out.
yeah, so we talk about breaking generational curses and generational sins
Right.
from things we're doing down to our children now. You know, if you stop and think about the things that our parents broke before us.
Right. So I'm learning more and more about that, especially like, so my mom like was adopted, but knew her birth parents later. And they're from what I can gather, like she had one good parent, that her adopted dad, who died when she was like a teenager, young adult, and then like crap from then on out.
Crap as in like random people that were in life?
Her adopted mom was very abusive.
Okay.
Her adopted brother was very abusive.
Okay, so once the adopted dad died,
it was
all negative
she had
from there.
no good.
Okay, I get you now. I see
point
where
of
you're.
views.
I
And
see where
then
you're cooking now.
My dad's parents, my grandmother was amazing. My grandfather was a typical 1940s, 50s, 60s dad. You know, he drove a truck, inner city Memphis, and you know, he drank a lot and beat his kids a little bit. You know, he was not on the road of self-improvement at all. And my dad had to take that plus Army and roll that into being a parent, like straight out the Army.
So if you look at all the things he did break before it got to you.
Right. No. That's what I'm saying. Like, he did amazing. And he was a top tier grandfather.
Yeah. All right. Moving on, because we can keep talking about stuff. I do want to talk about how we parent in the group punishment aspect, because I do a little bit, but I make it very clear when it is.
Okay, let's go for it.
So group punishment at our house looks like this. Ariana, your mother and I will not be home until an hour after you get home.
Right.
It is your job to ensure your brother and sister have done their chores.
Okay.
If they don't do their chores, they're in trouble and she's in trouble, even if she's done hers.
Right.
There are caveats to that, in that we've created boundaries that say, I told them, I repeatedly instructed them, they did not. Right. Okay, well, she's obviously not in trouble for that. But if she doesn't do any of those things, she's in trouble for them not doing theirs as well.
Right, because she didn't hold up her responsibility.
Correct. So what I say is it's a tiered, leveled
I got you.
group punishment. They're all involved.
Right.
But it's less individual.
So I don't really experience group because I have two.
You do pair punishment.
Because usually they're doing it together. They're doing they're doing the bad together.
How far apart in age are
2
they?
years.
See, yeah,
and Caitlin's maturity is on par with her brothers. Like, because females mature faster, boys mature slower. If she's a year ahead, he's a year behind. They are right next to each other.
I can see them both being both mentally and emotionally on the same pace.
They are very close to each other, and she's my manipulator.
What?
She's
Wait, Tim, I thought we were breaking that. So you're saying she was born with it?
Born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Oh my gosh. No, she's the one I repeatedly say I say she wakes up and chooses violence.
Yes, I've heard you say this before.
Yeah, I've caught it. Like,
right.
I've caught her waking up and being like, this is how I'm going to torture my brother today. Like
that, I think that has something to do with the youngest, because she's like that, right? She's very strong-willed. But what I've learned is, as parents, it's our job to steer and direct our children.
That energy,
right? And the thing is,
just not small animals.
What I've told people recently is Carly's either going to be the one who changes the world, or she's going to stab someone and end up in prison.
Oh, like changes or destroys.
Yeah. But she's going to channel that energy.
World breaker or world maker.
Exactly. So it's our job as parents to steer and direct that energy into the direction.
Yeah.
In the end, all we can do is direct, and then once they're out of our hands, they're out of our hands, right? What they do from that point on is it's a balance on them plus what we did, right? I get it. We do have an effect on their future. But it is like, as parenting, the whole process is literally saying, all right, child, these are the things that are important. Here's why we worship God. Here's why we go to work every day.
Right.
Here's why we take care of our room. Here's why we do our chores.
You need to share that. Take care of our room one with me.
Oh, right. But we're directing, and it's more than just the tasks.
Yeah,
We're shaping hearts in those moments too.
definitely.
Um,
Character. It's character shaking.
right. And the I don't know how long we've even been going for at this point, but the newest thing parenting wise that I'm working through within the last year, I would say, is I'm far less concerned with what as I am what's going on inside, right?
Motive. You're motive
Right.
inspecting.
I would say I'd rather look a step deeper than motive. I want to know where your heart is about the situation,
Right.
and then we'll step into motive. Then we'll step out, right? Because what if what if Ariana is celebrating with her friends and she lets a curse word slip, right? Whatever.
Right.
Am I mad because she said something that we don't use at the house, or where was her heart? Was she pointing bitterness and anger towards somebody, or was she celebrating and
It was an
rejoicing?
expression. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I'm trying to not just say not just
Right.
what word did you say, not just
Not coming
how
as
did
the
you do this
accusatory
task,
dad, right?
I want to know. I want to see your heart.
Right.
And when I think once you get all the way down past everything else and you can get to the heart, that's the long affecting and long encompassing direction where you could steer from.
Definitely.
So, and it's a process. It's
Oh, big time. So I think, and it's not on here, and I thought about it while we were talking. Something that we're doing that I did not have for a very long time. We had a little bit of it. We are a community. Like,
yes.
So
Yeah.
like there's a group of us, and we grow, and we lose people, we gain people, we are integral into each other's lives. And that is something, and our kids are all intermingling and talking and hanging out and being friends and talking about one another. Like, you know, and there's seasons for some, and there are long seasons for others. Like, for when y'all first moved back, me and you weren't really that close.
No.
But over the last few years, we've gotten closer and closer.
Yeah.
You know, Jack is a new addition to our group, and that's great because our kids are just at the same age. They go to the same school for a couple of them. They come over a lot. We go over there a couple times, but, you know, they got cats, and Jennifer's got cat allergy. But, you know, we're doing life together, and that's not something my parents had active. That, you know, our social interaction was school, and that's it.
You're probably like me in this. You're right. Our friend group, in terms of how we do life with one another, is very much so friendship based community. Whereas when we were younger, when I was younger specifically, it wasn't so much friendship based as it was family based.
Family based, yes,
right?
exactly.
So I spent a lot of time growing up with my cousins.
Yep.
And we were very close.
Well, but see, a family drama can lead to a separation, which, I mean, I had on both the you know, mom and dad side.
But I mean there's the capacity of that within friends as well, right?
Yeah,
That's not
definitely.
I think the difference between friend and family was
You choose, you're given.
correct.
And the family you choose is the one that sticks. The saying, you know, everybody says water is thicker than blood, but it's the water of the covenant is thicker than the blood of the womb. So the family you choose is closer than the family you are born into.
Yes.
Well, this has been a great conversation.
Yes, it has. Hopefully y'all got something.
I would hope so.
I think
just
so.
Us babbling on about past experiences, what we do now. Hopefully someone gets something from this. We really appreciate every one of you out there. For Cutscenes Conversations, I'm Tim,
I'm Jesse.
and we'll see you next time.
Some people say we don't use the word divorce in our house. We don't use that word pregnant in our house.